If you're an American and still have any doubt about how Joe Biden's administration feels about Israel, today's program should clear up any confusion. From fawning over Jew haters to shunning Israel's prime minister, the U.S. administration seemed to be bending over backwards to make sure the world knows they do not support Israel. I'm Luke, and this is the Israel Guys. Welcome to the Israel Guys, where we believe that in a world of anti-Israel propaganda, Jew hatred, you should have a direct connection to the land and people of Israel. Guys, go ahead and hit subscribe or follow, hit the notification, and drop us a comment if you are a new viewer or listener. So yesterday, and this is breaking news because today is Tuesday, May 2nd. Yesterday, the White House hosted an Eid al-Fitr, not sure if I said that right, event at the White House to mark the end of Ramadan. I believe Ramadan actually ended like a week and a half ago, so I'm not sure why it's happening now. But they're marking the end of Ramadan, and I think they had some traditional Muslim prayers that were said with Joe Biden on stage. But I want to mention something because in Biden's speech at this event, he specifically called out and complimented Congresswoman Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib.
We also have members of the House of Representatives here. Congressman Omar, where are you, Congressman Omar? There you go. God love you. I'm not supposed to, I'll get in trouble for saying this, but you look beautiful tonight. And Congresswoman Tlaib, where's the Congresswoman? There you are. Okay. So do you.
Omar, they're both Muslim, and Rashida Tlaib has connections to, I believe her grandmother is a Palestinian Arab that lives in Judea and Samaria. But both of them have a history of anti-Semitism. And when I say they have a history, I mean blatant Jew hatred over and over and over again. Here's a couple of examples from Ilhan Omar. She said that Israel has hypnotized the world. She's called Israel an apartheid state. She's likened them to terrorist groups like the Taliban and Hamas. And crazily enough, wildly, you won't even probably believe this, and guaranteed you won't see it on the mainstream media, 25 minutes before this ceremony where Biden complimented Ilhan Omar at the White House, she tweeted the following, quote, "The apartheid state of Israel was born out of violence and the ethnic cleansing of Palestinians." 25 minutes later, at an event marking the end of Ramadan, President Biden calls her out specifically, complimenting her, fawning over her. Both of them, Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib, were so anti-Semitic, so full of vitriol, hatred towards the Jewish people and the state of Israel, that Israel actually enforced an existing law they had in the country and banned them from coming, at least on a diplomatic, official diplomatic visit. They said they would allow Rashida Tlaib to come on a personal visit to visit her grandmother, which, by the way, she refused. But they said as anti-Semites, they were simply following the law, and they said they would not be allowed to visit Israel in an official capacity. Not only that, but Biden has yet to invite Bibi Netanyahu to the White House, which you might have heard before.
Are you inviting Prime Minister Netanyahu to the White House, sir?
No.
But it's in the news again because while he's fawning over these anti-Israel Jew haters at the White House, yesterday, Speaker of the House, Kevin McCarthy, which Josiah talked about in his show yesterday, was on an official visit. He was at the Knesset yesterday, and he said that if Biden does not invite Netanyahu soon, he will personally invite Israel's prime minister to come and visit the U.S. Congress, the House of Representatives. Interestingly enough, after McCarthy vowed to invite Netanyahu, the U.S. reiterated that there's currently no official visit in the planning stages, and there's no official visit from Biden to the White House. U.S. National Security Council spokesman John Kirby said that he thinks Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu will be probably invited and coming to the White House sometime in the near future, but just so you know, there's no visit being currently planned. In other words, Biden's administration comes out just to make sure that the media and everybody knows that they have not actually invited Netanyahu after Speaker of the House Kevin McCarthy said that he would invite Netanyahu if Biden doesn't do so soon. Why is this so strange? Israel and America are supposed to be some of the strongest allies in the world, America being the superpower democracy in the world, and Israel being the only democracy in the Middle East, supporting each other. Netanyahu sworn into office. Nearly 5 months later, there's no invitation from the Biden administration to visit the White House or America in an official capacity. So Biden definitely bending over backwards to make sure that the world knows that Netanyahu, Israel, the Israeli government, the country of Israel, yeah, we might still be friends, but we're definitely not going overboard to make sure the world knows that we are friends, or going overboard to support each other. And at the same time, he's embracing Israel haters, Jew haters, fawning over them, following all over them at the White House in an official capacity at an event marking the end of Ramadan. The Israel Bible is an incredible resource for anyone seeking to deepen their understanding of the Bible and its connection to the land of Israel. Imagine exploring the same historical sites mentioned in the Bible, walking in the footsteps of the prophets and the patriarchs, and experiencing the Holy Land of Israel like never before. Whether you're studying the Bible at home, in church, or on the go, the Israel Bible provides a wealth of resources, including commentaries, maps, and historical insights to help you gain a deeper understanding of the biblical text. It's a resource that brings together people of all faiths who share a love and appreciation for the Holy Land. With the Israel Bible, you'll also discover the beauty of Israel, from its stunning beaches and forests to its majestic mountains and deserts. So whether you're a pro-Israel Christian or someone who simply wants to learn more about the Bible and the Holy Land, the Israel Bible is the perfect guide for your journey. Right now, the Israel Bible is on sale for 57% off. Purchase the Israel Bible today by clicking the link in the description below. I wanted to mention, and I'll let you guys read the official report because we'll have a link down in the description below, but JNS, Jewish News Syndicate, great news network out of Israel, they just started a weekly anti-Semitism report. I'm not going to read you all the report in detail from the last week, but every week they're going to publish a report of all reported incidents of anti-Semitism around the world from that past week. And again, we'll put the link down below. You can read it to yourself, read it for yourself. But I wanted to mention that according to the Anti-Defamation League, just in the United States, 7 anti-Semitic incidents happen every single day. Just in the United States, 7 anti-Semitic incidents. And we're talking about break-ins. We're talking about Nazi graffiti. We're talking about actual physical violence and persecution. 7 anti-Semitic incidents happen every single day just in the United States, according to the Anti-Defamation League. Now, while we're on that topic, and if you stick around to the end of the show, and we're going to talk about a terrorist who killed himself by refusing to eat in an Israeli prison, and now the terrorist organizations are calling it an assassination and an execution by Israel. But first, when we're talking about anti-Semitism, which, by the way, anti-Semitism equals Jew hatred. There's absolutely no difference whatsoever. And it also equals Israel hatred. Okay, so anti-Semitism is just a fancy and confusing word or to basically say that people hate Jews and they want to do them harm, do them violence, and kill them, or they hate the land and the people of Israel. Someone reached out to me recently and asked that we correct a statement that we said on something. We put out a video called Say Their Names earlier this year where we actually said the names of a lot of different victims of terrorism here in Israel. And one of the lines in the video says that these Jews were murdered simply for daring to live in the land that was promised to them by God himself. And someone reached out to me and said, would you please correct your statement and not say that in the future, because Jews are not simply being murdered for daring to live in the land of Israel. They're being murdered simply for being Jews. And I want to just make 2 comments on this, because I agree with you, but at the same time, I disagree with you, okay? So hear me out. And by the way, this little segment right here is more of my opinion, so I would love to hear your comments and your feedback down below, because I'm open to feedback, I'm open to criticism, and I want to hear from you, especially our Jewish audience. Let me know what you think about this. So 2 comments on this. Yes, Jews are being persecuted all over the world simply for being Jews. I just told you, 7 anti-Semitic incidents just in the United States every single day. Are they being murdered all over the world? The answer is yes, Jews are I imagine, I don't have the statistics, but I imagine Jews are being killed, but far less than in the land of Israel. Typically, anti-Semitic incidents against the Jewish people in other parts of the world, like I mentioned, they can be physical acts of violence, but there's not a lot of acts that actually lead to Jewish people being killed, at least not like on a regular basis. And again, I want to hear from you guys, so please let me know what you think down in the comments. Whereas in Israel, Jews in Israel are being murdered because they are Jewish and living in the land of Israel. And obviously because the haters and the enemies of Israel are much more real here, because we're not just talking about anti-Semitism here, we're talking about actual terrorism, like organized groups, Hamas, Fatah, Palestinian Islamic Jihad, even probably ISIS operating in Judea and Samaria. But these groups actually are out to kill Israel, and they're organized, funded, armed. They are military groups. So that's another reason. But Jews living in the land of Israel are being targeted to be killed. Whereas Jews in other parts of the world are being targeted for being Jewish. And again, I want to be very, very sensitive about this because I'm not downplaying anti-Semitism in other parts of the world. But I feel like being a Jew living in the land of Israel is like taking it to the next level. Now, you might say, well, doesn't that mean it's more dangerous to be a Jewish person living in the land of Israel? You might be right, but at the same time, Israel is the only Jewish democratic state with the first Jewish army in 2,000 years, and I believe very soon Israel will be the only safe country in the world for the Jewish people, because I think Jew hatred and anti-Semitism will only get worse in other parts of the world. We know it will because history repeats itself. History tends to repeat itself, and we know that anti-Semitic levels or levels of anti-Semitism around the world are at their highest since World War II, since the rise of Nazi Germany. So, unfortunately, Jew hatred and anti-Semitism will probably lead to more Jewish deaths if the world doesn't wake up. And also, if the Jewish people, and also, I believe the Jewish people need to come back to the land of Israel, because even though the risk may be higher here, Israel is the Jewish nation that's dedicated to the Jewish people living and thriving and surviving and being safe in the land of Israel. So yes, even though people are being killed, terrorism is happening, murders are happening, the land of Israel is the only safe haven for the Jewish people. And I believe that with all my heart. And I'm not Jewish. I'm a Christian Zionist. And I'm saying to you, if you're a Jew living in another part of the world, please come to the land of Israel. This is your homeland. This is the only place where you will be safe, even though the world will still hate you and terrorists will still hate you and try to harm you in the land of Israel. The country, the nation of Israel is here to protect you, and the nation of Israel is here for you to thrive and survive and settle and live as a Jew in the land of Israel. Okay, so our last story is about a terrorist that died after not eating for 86 days. So a senior leader or a leader of the Palestinian Islamic Jihad terror organization died in an Israeli prison after not eating for 86 days. He did an 86-day hunger strike. Now, he'd done this because he's been in an Israeli prison. He's supposedly been arrested more by like 13 times. He's been in prison like 10 times. So this is like a known terrorist put in prison for his crimes against Israel and the Jewish people. And he'd done several hunger strikes before, and evidently once or twice it worked because he was freed or he got what he wanted. Well, this time, I guess he didn't get what he wanted. And after going 86 days, this morning he was found unresponsive in his prison cell in the Nitzan prison. He was taken to the Shamir Medical Center outside Tel Aviv. They tried to resuscitate him, but were unsuccessful and forced to declare him dead. His name was Kadir Adnan. And after he died, Palestinian Islamic Jihad issued a statement. They said this, quote, "The occupation will pay the price for his death." And already 3 rockets were shot out of Gaza into Israel. Thankfully, the Iron Dome was not activated because all the rockets landed in open parts of Israel. No one was injured, thank God. But he died. Palestinian Islamic Jihad responded that the occupation will pay the price for his death, and rockets have already been shot into Israel. They also called for a general strike in the West Bank and the Gaza Strip. I'm not sure what that means. Strike against what? Against their own government? Maybe a protest? Terrorists are unionizing, maybe. But they also said, quote, his death will be a lesson for generations. We will not leave this path as long as Palestine remains under occupation. So a known terrorist who's been in prison 10 different times, arrested 13 different times, decides not to eat. He decides not to eat for so long that he dies. And then Palestinian Islamic Jihad blames his death on Israel and says that Israel will regret allowing him to die. Hamas, even though supposedly he's not part of the Hamas organization, called his death a, quote, cold-blooded execution by the occupation. And they warned, quote, the Palestinian people will not let this crime pass by in silence and will respond accordingly. The path of revolution and resistance will escalate. The Palestinian Authority. Here comes another one, because it's Palestinian Islamic Jihad he was a part of, but now Hamas is defending him. Now the Palestinian Authority, which is controlled by Fatah, another terrorist organization, issued their own statement. They said they would lodge a complaint with the International Criminal Court, and they called his death an assassination. So just to recap, a terrorist, known terrorist, sitting in prison for his crimes against Israel and the Jewish people, decided to kill himself by refusing to eat. And in response, Gaza shoots rockets at Israel, blames Israel for executing and assassinating him, and says they will regret his death. I don't know about you guys, but a known terrorist dying in prison by refusing to eat doesn't really bother me. And no, we don't blame Israel for... They didn't kill him. We don't blame Israel for anything. He just refused to eat and died, and he's a known terrorist. So, sorry, no sympathy here. Okay, guys, that's it for today. Make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell on YouTube, and let us know down in the comments if you're a new viewer, if you're a new listener. We'd love to hear from you. Don't forget to purchase a copy of the Israel Bible and take advantage of the current sale. It's 57% off, a Bible that is all about the land and the people of Israel. As always, tune out the fake news and tune into what is actually happening here in the land of Israel. We'll be back every Monday through Friday with your direct connection to the land and people of Israel.